I'm standing at my wedding reception with a champagne glass in my hand, and I can't stop shaking. My fingernails are digging into the stem so hard I'm afraid it might snap. Around me, 200 guests are laughing and talking, completely unaware that 60 seconds ago I watched my twin sister slip something into my drink. Violet doesn't know I saw her. She thinks I was distracted by Aunt Helen's endless compliments about my dress, but I caught it in the corner of my eye, a quick movement, her hand hovering over my glass on the head table, something small and clear falling from her fingers into the golden liquid, a tiny vial disappearing back into the folds of her lavender maid of honor dress. My heart stopped. Then it started racing so fast I thought I might faint right there. I had maybe 5 seconds to make a decision. Violet was turning back toward me, her perfect smile in place, that same smile we've shared since we were born 28 years ago. The same face I see in the mirror every morning, except hers has always been brighter somehow, more confident. I did something I've never done before in my entire life. I acted without thinking. When Violet got pulled into a conversation with one of Nathan's cousins, I reached across the table as casually as I could and switched our champagne glasses. My hands were steady even though my mind was screaming. I placed her glass, the clean one, in front of my name card. I took the poisoned one and set it where hers had been. Now she's standing up to give her maid of honor toast, holding that glass, and I'm watching with a smile frozen on my face like I've been carved from ice. But I need to go back. I need to explain how I got here, to this impossible moment where I'm watching my own sister about to drink poison that was meant for me. 3 months ago, everything seemed perfect. Nathan proposed to me on a beach at sunset, and I said yes before he even finished asking the question. We'd been dating for 2 years, and every single day with him felt easy and right in a way nothing else in my life ever had. He's kind. He's patient. He laughs at my terrible jokes and brings me coffee in bed on Sunday mornings. When I'm with Nathan, I don't feel like I'm competing with anyone. I'm just Claire, just me. That's enough for him. The first person I called after we got engaged was Violet. She answered on the second ring, and I was so excited I could barely get the words out. Vi, I'm engaged. Nathan proposed. There was a pause. Just a second too long. That's amazing, Claire, she said, and her voice was bright and warm like always. I'm so happy for you. Tell me everything. I told her about the beach and the ring, and how Nathan had been so nervous he dropped the ring box in the sand. She laughed in all the right places. She asked all the right questions, but that pause stayed with me, like a small stone in my shoe that I couldn't quite shake out. When we met for coffee the next week to talk about wedding plans, Violet seemed back to normal. More than normal, actually. She was buzzing with ideas and excitement, talking about flowers and venues and colour schemes before I'd even had a chance to think about any of it. You have to let me be your maid of honor, she said, reaching across the table to grab my hand. Please, Claire. We've been dreaming about each other's weddings since we were little girls. I remembered those nights in our shared bedroom, whispering about what our weddings would look like someday, back when we told each other everything, back when I thought being twins meant we'd always be best friends. Of course you're my maid of honor, I said. I wouldn't want anyone else. She squeezed my hand and her eyes got a little watery. I love you so much. This is going to be the most beautiful wedding ever. My best friend Amber was less enthusiastic when I told her. Are you sure about making Violet your maid of honor? She asked carefully. We were having lunch at our favorite Thai place near her law office. Amber has known me since college, and she's one of those friends who sees right through all my polite pretending. She's my twin sister, I said, a little defensive. Who else would I choose? I'm not saying don't include her, Amber said, pushing her noodles around with her fork. I just think, Claire, you know I love you, and I want to support you. But Violet has a way of making things about herself. Remember your graduation party? I did remember. Violet had shown up late and immediately started telling everyone about the promotion she'd just gotten, and somehow my graduation became background noise to her success story. But that was just Violet being excited. She didn't mean anything by it. This is different, I told Amber. This is my wedding. She wouldn't do anything to mess that up. Amber looked like she wanted to say more, but she just nodded and changed the subject. Over the next few months, Violet threw herself into wedding planning like it was her full-time job. She came to every venue tour, every cake tasting, every meeting with the florist. She had opinions about everything, strong opinions. Sometimes I felt like I was planning Violet's dream wedding instead of my own, but I told myself I was being ungrateful. She was just trying to help. She wanted everything to be perfect for me. Mom was thrilled that we were getting along so well. My girls working together, she kept saying, her eyes getting misty. This is all I've ever wanted. But there were strange moments that I couldn't quite explain. I caught Violet at the venue one afternoon when I wasn't supposed to be there. I'd forgotten my folder with the seating chart and drove back to get it. She was talking to the catering manager, asking detailed questions about the champagne service, about who would be handling the drinks, about the timing of the toasts. When she saw me, she jumped a little like I'd caught her doing something wrong. Just making sure everything's organized, she said quickly. You know how crazy the reception can get. Another time, she asked me if Nathan and I were going to do the traditional first toast together, or if we'd wait until after dinner. It seemed like an odd thing to focus on, but I figured she was just being thorough. The morning of the wedding, Violet was at my apartment before sunrise. She made me breakfast and helped me into my dress and did my makeup. She was perfect, laughing and crying and telling me how beautiful I looked. We took pictures together in our matching silk robes, her in lavender and me in white. Our faces identical except for the different shades of lipstick. I can't believe my baby sister is getting married, she said, even though she was only born 12 minutes before me. She hugged me tight. Today is going to be perfect. I promise. At the reception, she was everywhere at once, greeting guests, fixing the flower arrangements, making sure the photographer got all the right shots. She kept bringing me champagne from the bar, insisting I needed to stay hydrated and happy. Each time I took a sip to be polite, but I was too nervous and excited to drink much. Then came the moment before dinner, when I was supposed to take my seat at the head table for the toasts. Violet had already placed a full glass of champagne at my spot. I was talking to Aunt Helen about my dress when I glanced over and saw Violet standing at the table. She looked around quickly, checking if anyone was watching. Her hand moved fast, pulling something small from inside her dress. She held it over my glass. There was a tiny splash I could barely see. Then she tucked whatever it was away and turned around with that bright violet smile, like nothing had happened. That's when everything inside me went cold and clear at the same time. Now she's holding the microphone, holding the poisoned glass, and everyone's looking at her with warm, expectant faces. To my sister Claire, Violet says, her voice carrying across the room. My twin. My other half. My best friend. She raises the glass to her lips. I keep smiling. She drinks. For about 30 seconds, nothing happens. Violet finishes her toast and everyone applauds. She takes a long sip from the champagne glass, my champagne glass, and sets it down on the table. She's smiling at me, at Nathan, at all the guests who are raising their own glasses. Everything looks normal, perfect even. I start to feel crazy. Maybe I imagined the whole thing. Maybe it was just a trick of the light, or maybe she was adjusting the glass, not putting something in it. Maybe my nerves about the wedding made me see things that weren't there. Then Violet's smile falters. Her hand goes to her throat. It's a small gesture at first, like she's just clearing it. But then her eyes go wide, really wide, and she starts coughing. Not delicate little coughs, deep, choking sounds that cut through all the conversation in the room. The glass falls from her other hand. It hits the edge of the table and shatters, sending champagne and broken crystal across the floor. Violet! My mother's voice comes from somewhere behind me, high and scared. My sister tries to say something, but no words come out. Her knees buckle. She grabs for the table to steady herself, but her hand slips, and she goes down hard. Her lavender dress spreads around her like flower petals on the white floor. Everyone starts screaming at once. Nathan pulls me back as people rush forward. Someone yells to call an ambulance. My father drops to his knees beside Violet, his hands shaking as he tries to turn her on her side. My mother is sobbing, screaming Violet's name over and over. I should move, I should do something, but I'm frozen, watching it all happen like I'm behind a thick pane of glass. Nathan's arm is around my shoulders and I can feel him shaking too. Or maybe that's me shaking. I can't tell anymore. Violet's eyes find mine across the chaos of people trying to help her. For just 1 second, our gazes lock and I see it. Recognition. Understanding. She knows. She knows exactly what I did. Then her eyes roll back and she stops moving. The ambulance arrives in 7 minutes, but it feels like hours. The paramedics push through the crowd with their equipment and their calm, practiced voices. They're asking questions nobody can answer. What did she eat? What did she drink? Does she have any medical conditions? Is she on any medications? My mother tries to explain between sobs, but she's not making sense. The paramedics load Violet onto a stretcher, strap an oxygen mask over her face, and wheel her out through the reception hall. Half our wedding guests follow them outside, pulling out phones, talking in urgent whispers. Nathan and I ride to the hospital with my parents in their car because I can't drive and Nathan's hands are shaking too badly. Nobody talks. My mother cries silently in the front seat while my father drives 10 miles over the speed limit, his jaw clenched so tight I can see the muscles jumping. I still haven't said a word. My brain is moving too fast and too slow at the same time. I switched the glasses. I gave her the poison. She drank it. This is my fault, except it isn't, because she was trying to poison me first. But nobody knows that. Nobody saw what I saw. At the hospital, they make us wait in a room with uncomfortable chairs and old magazines. Doctors come and go, their faces serious. They're running tests. They're stabilizing her. She's unconscious but alive. That's all they can tell us right now. After an hour, a police detective shows up. His name is Detective Morrison, and he's tall with grey hair and tired eyes that have probably seen everything. He introduces himself and asks if he can speak with the family. Nathan starts to stand up to give us privacy, but the detective motions for him to stay. "I need to ask you all some questions about what happened tonight," Morrison says, pulling out a small notebook. "Is Violet going to be okay?" My mother asks immediately. "Nobody will tell us anything." "The doctors are doing everything they can," he says, which isn't really an answer. "But I need you to help me understand the situation. Did your daughter consume anything unusual tonight? Anything she might be allergic to?" "No, nothing," my father says. "Just champagne." Everyone was drinking the same champagne. "We found something," Morrison says carefully, watching all our faces. One of the staff members at the venue discovered a small vial in the folds of Miss Hartford's dress. It was empty, but there were residue traces of what appears to be a strong sedative mixed with another substance we're still identifying. The room goes completely silent. "What are you saying?" my mother whispers. "I'm saying it's possible your daughter ingested something that wasn't in the champagne itself, something she may have been carrying." He pauses. "Or something someone gave her." My mother makes a sound like she's been punched. "Are you suggesting someone tried to poison Violet at a wedding reception with 200 people around?" "I'm not suggesting anything yet, Mom. I'm just trying to establish facts." His eyes move to me. "Claire, you're the bride. You were sitting right next to your sister when this happened. Did you notice anything unusual? Anyone acting strangely around her?" This is it. This is the moment where I could tell him everything. I could explain what I saw, how Violet put something in my drink, how I switched the glasses. I could make him understand that I was protecting myself. But the words stick in my throat, because if I tell him, then what? I deliberately gave my sister poison. Even if she meant it for me, I still made the choice. I still watched her drink it. I still smiled while it happened. "No," I hear myself say. "I didn't see anything." Nathan squeezes my hand and I realize he believes me. He thinks I'm in shock, that I can't remember clearly. He has no idea what I did. Morrison asks more questions about the timeline of the evening, about who had access to the drinks, about Violet's mental state lately. My parents answer as best they can, but they're confused and terrified. When he finally leaves, promising to be in touch, my mother collapses against my father. "This doesn't make sense," she keeps saying. "None of this makes sense." We wait for another 2 hours. Nathan brings terrible coffee from a vending machine. Amber shows up, still in her bridesmaid dress, and sits beside me without saying anything. She just holds my hand. Finally, a doctor comes out and tells us Violet is awake. She's stable. The sedative in her system was strong enough to cause the collapse, but they caught it in time. She's going to recover fully. My mother bursts into fresh tears, these ones from relief. My father has to sit down because his legs won't hold him anymore. "Can we see her?" my mother asks. "Soon," the doctor says. "But there's something you should know. Your daughter is insisting that someone else poisoned her. She claims she didn't have that vial, that someone must have planted it on her. She's quite adamant about it." The lies are starting already. I should have known Violet wouldn't admit to anything. "She wants to speak with her sister," the doctor adds, looking at me. "Alone. She's been asking for Claire specifically." Nathan starts to protest, saying I've been through enough, but I stand up before he can finish. "It's okay," I say. "She's my sister. I should see her." What I don't say is that I need to hear what story Violet is going to tell. I need to know what game she's playing now. They lead me down a sterile hallway to a room at the end. There's a police officer standing outside the door, which sends a chill down my spine. Through the small window, I can see Violet propped up in the hospital bed. She looks pale and weak, with an IV in her arm and monitors beeping beside her. But when she sees me approaching, her expression changes. The weakness disappears from her eyes, replaced by something sharp and cold and angry. The officer opens the door for me and I step inside. Violet waits until the door closes before she speaks. "You switched the glasses," she says quietly. Not a question. A statement. "You clever, clever girl. I never thought you had it in you." I close the door behind me and stand there, my wedding dress suddenly feeling like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Violet is handcuffed to the bed rail. The police aren't taking any chances with someone who might have tried to poison themselves or gotten poisoned by someone else. The metal glints under the fluorescent lights. "Sit down, Claire," Violet says, gesturing to the chair beside her bed with her free hand. "We need to talk." I don't sit. "You tried to poison me. At my own wedding. And you switched our glasses." She laughs, but it sounds bitter and painful. "When did you see me? I was so careful." "Careful enough," I say. "Not careful enough." She studies my face for a long moment, and I can see her brain working behind those eyes that look exactly like mine. "You haven't told anyone, have you? The police, Nathan, Mom and Dad, they don't know what really happened." "Why would I tell them? So I can get arrested for giving you poison, even though it was meant for me." "Smart," Violet says softly. "See, this is what I've been saying forever. You're not as helpless as everyone thinks. You're not the sweet, innocent twin who needs protecting. You've got teeth, Claire. You just never wanted to show them before." I finally sit down, mostly because my legs are shaking. "Why did you do it? What could I possibly have done to make you want to—" I can't even finish the sentence. "Want to what? Kill you?" Violet shakes her head. "God, Claire, I wasn't trying to kill you. Do you really think I'm a murderer? It was just a sedative, something to make you sick, make you pass out, maybe hit your head a little when you fell, ruin the perfect wedding day. Make Nathan see you as weak and broken instead of this glowing bride everyone was fawning over. That's supposed to make me feel better? I'm just telling you the truth." She shifts in the bed, wincing. "You wanted to know why? That's why." "That's not a reason, Violet. That's just cruelty." "Is it?" Her voice gets sharper. "Is it cruel to want to take something from you for once? To be the one who wins instead of always coming in second?" I stare at her. "What are you talking about? You've never come in second to anything. You're the successful one, the confident one, the one everyone loves. Nathan loved me first." The words hit me like cold water. I stop breathing for a second. "That's right," Violet continues, watching my face. "You didn't know that, did you? Of course you didn't. Why would boring old Nathan mention that he dated your twin sister 5 years ago? Why would I tell you that the man you fell in love with used to take me to dinner, used to kiss me, used to tell me I was the most amazing woman he'd ever met? I feel sick. You're lying. Am I? Ask him. Go ahead. Call him right now. Watch his face when you bring it up. He'll admit it because Nathan's too honest for his own good. That's why I dumped him, actually. He was too nice, too stable, too boring. I wanted excitement, not someone who brought me soup when I had a cold." My mind is racing backward through every interaction between Violet and Nathan over the past 2 years. The way they were friendly but never too friendly. The way Nathan sometimes looked uncomfortable when Violet told certain stories. The way she'd sometimes mention things about him that seemed like she shouldn't know. "When did you find out?" Violet asks. "That we dated?" 3 weeks before the wedding," I whisper. "I found old photos on his laptop. I confronted him. And what did he say? That it was ancient history, that it didn't matter, that he loved me, not you." Violet's laugh is sharp and cruel. Of course he said that. What else was he going to say 3 weeks before the wedding? "Sorry, honey, I'm actually still thinking about your hotter twin." "Stop it. You never told me you knew, though. That was smart, too. You kept it secret, kept watching us, kept wondering. That must have eaten at you, Claire. Every time Nathan and I were in the same room, you must have been imagining us together." She's right, and I hate that she's right. Those 3 weeks were torture. Every smile between them felt loaded. Every casual touch felt like a secret. But Nathan swore he loved me, and I believed him. I had to believe him. "This still doesn't explain why you'd poison me," I say. "Even if you and Nathan dated, even if you're jealous. You think this is just about Nathan?" Violet interrupts, and suddenly her voice is different, harder. "You really don't see it, do you? You never have. See what? Everything, Claire. I've been sabotaging your life for years. The room feels like it's tilting. What are you talking about? That job you didn't get 3 years ago. The one at the design firm you were so excited about. Remember how they called and said you weren't a good fit after all? I called them. I pretended to be your previous supervisor and told them you had problems with deadlines and working with others. I can't breathe. I wanted that job so badly. I cried for days when I didn't get it. And remember Andrew? Your boyfriend in college, the one you thought you'd marry? The one who suddenly dumped you right before graduation with no explanation? Violet's smile is cold. I told him you'd been cheating on him with his roommate. I showed him fake text messages I created. He believed me because why wouldn't he? I'm your twin sister. Why would I lie? No, I whisper, but I can feel the truth of it settling into my bones. And that apartment fire 2 years ago that destroyed all your stuff. I knew about the bad wiring. The landlord told me when I helped you move in, said he'd fix it soon. I never mentioned it to you. I just waited. Each revelation is like a punch. I think back over my life, over every disappointment and heartbreak, and I'm seeing them all differently now. All the times Violet was there to comfort me, to help me pick up the pieces. She was the one breaking me in the first place. Why? My voice cracks. Why would you do all that? What did I ever do to you? You were born, Violet says simply. You were born. And Mom looked at both of us and I could see it in her eyes. She loved you more. She tried to hide it, tried to treat us the same, but I knew. I always knew. That's insane. Mom loves both of us. Mom loves you more, Violet says firmly. She always has. You were the easy baby, the quiet one, the one who didn't cause problems. I was colicky and difficult and loud. You got the smiles, the soft touches, the patience. I got the tired sighs and the, why can't you be more like your sister? I never heard her say that. Of course you didn't, because you were the favorite. Favorites never see how the rest of us are treated. I'm shaking my head, trying to process this. Even if that's true, even if Mom somehow preferred me, which I don't believe, that doesn't justify any of this. Years of sabotage, years of lies, trying to drug me at my own wedding. I know, Violet says quietly, and for the first time she sounds tired. I know it doesn't justify it. I'm not trying to justify it, Claire. You asked why, and I'm telling you. I've spent our entire lives competing with you. Every achievement you had felt like something being taken from me. Every time you were happy, I felt like I should have been happier. It's been eating me alive since we were kids. And I couldn't stop it. I didn't want to stop it. You need help, I say. You need actual psychiatric help, Violet. Probably, she agrees. But right now, I need something else from you. I'm not doing anything for you. Not even to save yourself? Her eyes sharpen again. Because here's what I told the police, Claire. I told them I saw you put something in my drink. I told them you've always been jealous of me, always living in my shadow, always wanting what I have. I told them you probably snapped when you found out about Nathan and me. My blood turns to ice. You're lying. Am I? She tilts her head. Think about it. Who's going to look more believable? The victim in the hospital bed or the bride whose wedding I supposedly ruined? You have motive now. You knew about Nathan and me. And you were the one standing right there when I collapsed. There's a vial. They found it in your dress, which you could have planted there when you switched the glasses. Easy enough to slip something into my dress while everyone was panicking. She smiles. It's your word against mine, sister, and I've always been better at making people believe me. I stand up so fast the chair scrapes backward. I'm leaving. Go ahead, Violet says. But before you do, ask yourself this. When the police start investigating both of us, who do you think they'll believe? I walk to the door, my hand on the handle. I'll make you a deal, Violet calls after me. Drop everything. Tell them it was all a terrible accident, that you don't want to press charges, that we're both just traumatized. And I'll do the same. We both walk away from this. Why would I do that? Because otherwise, Claire, one of us is going to prison. And I promise you, I'll fight a lot dirtier than you will. I leave without answering, but her words follow me down the hallway like ghosts. Nathan is waiting for me outside Violet's room. His face is tight with worry, and the moment he sees me, he pulls me into his arms. I let myself sink into him for just a moment, breathing in the familiar scent of his cologne mixed with champagne from the reception that feels like it happened years ago instead of hours. What did she say? He asks quietly. She's scared, I lie. She doesn't understand what happened. I can't tell him the truth. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Amber appears at the end of the hallway. Still in her blue bridesmaid dress but with her lawyer face on, sharp and focused. She walks up to us with purpose, and I can tell she's already in problem-solving mode. "We need to talk," she says, privately. Nathan looks confused, but Amber gently steers me toward an empty waiting room down the hall. Once we're inside with the door closed, she turns to me with her arms crossed. "Claire, the police are treating this as a suspicious incident. They're going to investigate both you and Violet. Do you understand what that means?" My stomach drops. Both of us. They found poison. Someone had it. Someone used it. Right now, they can't prove who was the intended victim and who was the perpetrator. She pauses, studying my face. "Is there anything you need to tell me? Because if there is, I need to know now. I'm your friend. But I'm also a lawyer, and I can help you better if I know everything." I want to tell her. I want to tell her so badly. But if I do, she'll have to act on it, and I don't know where that leads. Instead, I just shake my head. "I don't know what happened," I say. "I was just standing there, and then Violet collapsed." Amber watches me for a long moment, and I can tell she doesn't entirely believe me, but she nods. "Okay, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through everything that happened tonight, every detail you remember. We need to establish a timeline and figure out who had access to the drinks. If the police are investigating you, we need to be prepared." We spend the next hour going over every moment of the reception. Amber takes notes on her phone, asking questions I can barely focus on answering. "When did the champagne arrive? Who was near the head table? Did I see anyone acting strangely?" I tell her everything except the one thing that matters, that I saw Violet poison my drink and I switched our glasses. When we're done, Amber looks at her notes and frowns. This doesn't make sense. If someone wanted to hurt Violet, there were easier ways. The whole thing feels... What? Personal, she says. Like whoever did this wanted to do it at your wedding specifically, wanted to make a statement. She's closer to the truth than she knows. We leave the hospital around 3 in the morning. My parents stay with Violet, who's sleeping under police watch. Nathan drives me back to our apartment, the apartment we were supposed to come home to as a married couple celebrating the best day of our lives. Instead, I'm still in my wedding dress, numb and exhausted with my sister's threats echoing in my head. "I can't believe this happened," Nathan says as we pull into the parking garage. "Our wedding. God, Claire, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. I know, but still. This should have been perfect for you. For us." We ride the elevator up in silence. Inside the apartment, Nathan helps me out of my dress, unzipping it carefully like I might break. I change into sweats and wash my face, scrubbing off the makeup that took Violet an hour to apply this morning. That feels like a lifetime ago. When I come out of the bathroom, Nathan is sitting on the edge of our bed, his head in his hands. "Nathan," I say quietly, "did you date Violet?" His head snaps up. For a second, I see panic flash across his face, and that tells me everything I need to know. But I need to hear him say it. "It was 5 years ago," he says finally, "before I ever met you. I didn't think it mattered." "How long?" 3 months, maybe 4. It wasn't serious, Claire. She broke up with me, said I was too boring for her. It hurt at the time, but then I got over it and..." He stops. "How did you find out?" "I found photos. 3 weeks ago." 3 weeks? He stands up. "You've known for 3 weeks and didn't say anything." "You've known for 2 years and didn't say anything." He flinches like I slapped him. "That's different. I didn't tell you because it didn't matter. What Violet and I had wasn't real. What we have is real. How am I supposed to believe that when you lied to me for 2 years?" "I didn't lie, I just..." He runs his hands through his hair. Frustrated. "I didn't think it was important. She's your sister. I didn't want to make things weird between you two." "Well, congratulations. Things are definitely weird now." We stare at each other across our bedroom, and I realize we're having our first real fight as a married couple, except we're not actually married yet because we never made it through the reception to sign the marriage license. "Did you ever have feelings for her after you met me?" I ask. "Did you ever look at her and wish..." "No," Nathan says firmly. "Never. Not once, Claire. I love you. Only you. Violet and I were nothing. We had nothing in common. We wanted different things. She was exciting for about 5 minutes, and then I realized exciting wasn't what I wanted. I wanted kind. I wanted real. I wanted you. I want to believe him. I do believe him mostly. But there's a small part of me that will always wonder now." "I need to sleep," I say, because I can't have this conversation anymore. "I need to not think for a few hours." Nathan nods, looking miserable. We climb into bed together, but there's a distance between us that wasn't there before. I lie awake in the dark, listening to his breathing, wondering how many other secrets are waiting to destroy us. My phone buzzes on the nightstand. It's a text from an unknown number. You have 24 hours to decide. Drop the charges or I'll bury you. Violet. It has to be. Somehow she got a phone in the hospital, or someone's helping her. I delete the message and turn my phone off. The next morning, I wake up to Nathan already gone. There's a note on his pillow saying he went to the wedding venue to handle the cleanup and cancellations. I'm relieved to be alone. I make coffee and sit at the kitchen table trying to figure out what to do. Violet wants me to tell the police it was all an accident. She's threatening to frame me if I don't. But if I agree to her deal, she gets away with trying to poison me. She gets away with years of sabotaging my life. My phone rings. It's Amber. The police want to talk to you again, she says without preamble. This afternoon. Detective Morrison has some questions. I'm coming with you. What kind of questions? The kind that suggest they're looking at both you and Violet as potential suspects. Claire, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. Did you have any idea what Violet was planning? No. Did you see anything suspicious before she collapsed? Anything at all? This is my chance. I could tell Amber everything right now, but if I admit I switched the glasses, I become guilty of assault, maybe attempted murder. Even if Violet tried to poison me first, I made a choice. I acted deliberately. I need to see the venue security footage, I say instead. Can you get access to that? Why? Because if someone poisoned Violet, maybe the cameras caught it. Amber is quiet for a moment. That's actually a good idea. Let me make some calls. 2 hours later, we're sitting in the venue manager's office, watching security footage on his computer. Nathan insisted on coming, and he's standing behind my chair with his hand on my shoulder. The manager fast-forwards through hours of setup, staff arranging tables, the florist bringing in centerpieces, the caterers setting up the bar. Then he slows down when the champagne service begins. There, I say, pointing at the screen. Can you zoom in on the head table? He does. And there, clear as day, is Violet. 2 hours before guests arrived, she's alone in the reception room standing at the champagne table. Her body blocks the view of exactly what she's doing, but she's clearly focused on something in front of her. She's there for about 30 seconds, then she looks around quickly and walks away. What was she doing? The manager asks. I don't know, Nathan says slowly, but that's definitely suspicious. Amber is already recording the footage on her phone. This is enough to clear you, Claire. This shows Violet had access to the drinks before anyone else, combined with the vial they found in her dress. It proves she was planning something, I finish. Nathan squeezes my shoulder. We need to give this to the police. But I'm watching the timestamp on the video, 2 hours before the reception. Violet was there, alone, doing something with the champagne glasses. Planning, preparing to poison me on the happiest day of my life. There's something else, the manager says, clicking to a different camera angle. This is from about 20 minutes before the incident. This footage shows the head table from a different angle. I can see myself talking to Aunt Helen, and I can see Violet, see her hand moving over my champagne glass, see something small falling from her fingers into the liquid, see her quickly hiding something in her dress. The manager sees it too. Did she just put something in your drink? Nobody answers. Nathan's hand has gone rigid on my shoulder. Claire, Amber says carefully, is that your glass or hers? Mine, I whisper. So Violet poisoned your champagne, Nathan says, his voice tight. And then she... What? Drank yours by mistake. I can feel them all looking at me. This is the moment where I should tell the truth. Where I should explain that I switched the glasses, that I saw what she did and I protected myself. But I don't, because the cameras don't show me switching them. The angle is wrong, or the timing is off. Or maybe I was just lucky. The footage shows Violet poisoning my drink, and it shows Violet collapsing. It doesn't show me doing anything. She must have gotten confused, I hear myself say. With all the glasses on the table, she must have drunk from the wrong one. It's a weak explanation, but it's all I've got. Amber copies all the footage. We need to take this to Detective Morrison immediately. This changes everything. As we leave the venue, my phone buzzes with another message from Violet's unknown number. I know what you did. The cameras don't see everything. My sister knows me better than anyone. She knows I'm lying, and she's not going to let this go. Detective Morrison looks at the security footage 3 times before he speaks. We're in an interview room at the police station. Me, Amber, Nathan, and the detective. The video plays on a laptop between us, showing Violet's hand hovering over my champagne glass, something small falling into it. This is clear evidence of premeditation. Morrison says finally. Combined with the vial we found in her dress and the toxicology reports, we have enough to charge your sister with attempted assault at minimum. What about Claire? Nathan asks. She's not a suspect anymore, right? Morrison looks at me and I force myself to meet his eyes. The evidence suggests Miss Violet Hartford intended to poison her sister. However, we're still unclear on how she ended up consuming the poison herself. Does it matter? Amber cuts in smoothly. The important thing is that my client is innocent. Violet clearly planned this, and whatever happened after that is on her. Maybe she felt guilty, Nathan suggests. Maybe she couldn't go through with it and drank it herself. I stay quiet, letting them build a story I know isn't true, but it's a story that protects me, and right now that's what matters. Morrison closes the laptop. I'll need to speak with Violet again. In the meantime, Miss Hartford, you're free to go, but stay available. We may have more questions. As we leave the police station, my phone rings. It's my mother. Claire, honey, where are you? Violet wants to see you. She says it's urgent. I just left the police station, Mom. I don't think... Please, my mother says, and she sounds broken. She's asking for you. She says she needs to tell you something important. Maybe she wants to apologize. Violet doesn't want to apologize. She wants to threaten me again. But I can't explain that to my mother without explaining everything else. I'll come, I say. Nathan and Amber both try to argue with me, but I tell them I need to do this alone. The truth is, Violet and I need to finish this, one way or another. When I walk into her hospital room, my parents are gone. Violet is sitting up in bed, looking stronger than she did yesterday. The handcuffs are still on her wrist, but she doesn't look like a victim anymore. She looks angry. You gave them the security footage, she says the moment the door closes. The police would have found it anyway. But you led them right to it. Very clever, Claire. Now everyone thinks I tried to poison myself out of guilt. She laughs bitterly. Except you and I both know what really happened. Yes, we do. You tried to poison me, and I stopped you. By poisoning me instead. By giving you back what was meant for me, I correct her. There's a difference. Not to the police, there isn't. She leans forward. All I have to do is tell them you switched the glasses. I may not have video proof, but I have my testimony. I can tell them exactly what happened, how I saw you move the glasses while I was distracted, how you deliberately gave me poison. And I'll tell them why. I'll tell them about the vial, about what I saw you do. I'll tell them about Andrew, about the job, about the apartment fire, about every single thing you've done to sabotage my life. You have no proof of any of that? I don't need proof to plant doubt. Once the police start digging into your history, into our history, they'll see the pattern. They'll see you're not the victim you're pretending to be. We stare at each other, twins facing off like mirror images that hate each other. So what now? Violet asks finally. We both go to prison? We both destroy each other? Or you could tell the truth. Admit what you did. Get help. Why would I do that? Because you're sick, Violet. You need help. Real psychiatric help. And maybe... I pause, surprised by what I'm about to say. Maybe if you get help, if you really work on yourself, someday we could have a relationship again. Not like before, but something. Violet's eyes get watery, and for a moment I see something real in her face. Something vulnerable and scared and sad. I loved you, she whispers. I hated you, but I loved you too. I didn't know how to do both things at the same time. It made me crazy. I know, I say, and I realize I do know. I understand her in a way I never wanted to. But you can't keep hurting people because you're hurt. You can't keep breaking things because you feel broken. She wipes her eyes with her free hand. What if I tell the truth? What happens to me? I don't know. Prison, maybe. Psychiatric treatment, definitely. But at least it ends here. At least we both stop lying. And you? What happens to you if I tell them you switched the glasses? I'll deal with it. I'll tell them why I did it. Maybe they'll understand, maybe they won't, but I'm tired of carrying this secret around. Violet is quiet for a long time. Then she reaches over and presses the call button for the nurse. I want to speak to Detective Morrison, she tells the nurse when she arrives. I need to make a statement. Over the next week, everything falls apart and comes together at the same time. Violet tells the police everything. About the poison, about her plan to make me sick at the reception, about years of sabotaging my life. She admits that I switched the glasses after seeing what she did. She admits she needs psychiatric help. The prosecutor decides not to charge me. They rule it self-defense, a split-second decision to protect myself from immediate harm. Violet is charged with attempted assault and reckless endangerment. Her lawyer negotiates a deal, Psychiatric treatment at a secure facility instead of prison, with probation afterward. My parents are devastated. My mother cries for days, blaming herself for not seeing the signs, for not getting Violet help sooner. My father is quiet and sad, aged 10 years in a week. But they stand by both of us, trying to support Violet while also understanding what she did to me. Nathan and I have our marriage license annulled. We never technically completed the ceremony, and neither of us wants our marriage to start with poison and lies. Instead, we decide to wait, to heal, to figure out who we are after everything that's happened. "Do you still want to marry me?" Nathan asks one night as we're lying in bed. "After everything, the lies about Violet, the wedding disaster, all of it?" "Yes," I say, and I mean it, but not right now. Right now, I need to figure out who I am without Violet defining me, without her breaking me or fixing me or competing with me. I need to just be Claire. "I can wait," he says, kissing my forehead. "I'll wait as long as you need." A month after the wedding that wasn't, I visit Violet at the psychiatric facility where she's being treated. It's my third visit. The first two were painful and awkward, but this one feels different somehow. She's sitting in a common room when I arrive, wearing comfortable clothes instead of a hospital gown, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She looks more like herself than she has in years, not the bright, charming Violet who was always performing, but something quieter and more real. "Hi," she says, and her voice is tentative. "Hi." We sit together in uncomfortable chairs, and for a while neither of us speaks. "My therapist says I have narcissistic personality disorder," Violet says finally, "mixed with some other things. She says it's treatable, but it'll take years of work." "Are you going to do the work?" "I think so. I want to. I'm tired of being the person I was. I'm tired of hating you and hating myself and not knowing which feeling is which. I'm tired too, I admit. I'm tired of being afraid of you. Tired of wondering what you're going to do next." "I wrote you a letter," Violet says, pulling an envelope from her pocket. "My therapist helped me with it. It's everything I need to say, a real apology, not just words. You don't have to read it now, or ever, if you don't want to. But I needed to give it to you." I take the envelope. It feels heavy in my hands. "I don't know if we'll ever be close again," I say honestly. "I don't know if I can trust you, but I'm willing to try if you are. Slowly, with boundaries." "I'd like that," Violet says, and her eyes fill with tears. "I'd really like that." 2 months later, Nathan and I have a small ceremony at the courthouse. Just us, Amber, and a judge. No champagne, no reception, no drama. Just two people promising to love each other, for better or worse. My parents are there too, looking older but trying to smile. Violet watches via video call from the facility, and when Nathan kisses me, I see her wipe her eyes. Afterward, we have coffee and cake at our favorite bakery. It's simple and quiet and perfect. "Are you happy?" Nathan asks me, the same question he asked before. I think about everything: the poison, the lies, the broken trust, the slow process of healing. I think about Violet in treatment, working on herself. I think about the sister I lost, and the sister I might someday have. "I'm getting there," I say. And this time, I'm not just saying it to be polite. This time, it's true.